What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Star Trek Discovery Season 3 Ending Explained. Now, I have been a big defender of this show for a long time, and a theme of my latest videos has been really wanting to like things but ending up sorta disliking them. I went into this season having thoroughly enjoyed the last season, especially with the finale and them going into the future with a potential Planet of the Week episode series, but that really did get me excited. Unfortunately, I felt a bit let down. What we got was simply a weak season villain, and it never really seemed to get going and didn't really go anywhere until the really rushed payoff at the end. We start off immediately after last week's back and forth with the Admiral of the Federation and Asira, aka Alien Elphaba, whose makeup prosthetics make it look like she can barely speak. The dilemma the Admiral has is, should he attack and destroy the Discovery that's been taken over by Asira, as if she can use it then she has infinite power to conduct her witchy ways. Now, that evil character did get interesting, but they just had to write her as a lame duck, moustache-twirling villain in the end, and we see Burnham brought to the bridge as yet again Burnham saves the day in the season, as she and Book were captured, as Asira needs to know where the dilithium planet is, as it would give her immense power. Now, this is my issue too with this season, as it was very much the Book and Burnham show as they saved the day, despite us also having stories of the bridge crew making a sacrifice that again made me feel nothing, as it's clear the show didn't have the balls to kill off certain people. Now, we also had the story of Saru and Su'Kal as well. We see Stamets, who was saved by Burnham, sent far away, or potentially sent far away, by the Admiral after pleading to be sent back to the Discovery. The high action and very, in my opinion, un-Star Trek-like nature of this show lets it down and lets down this character, in my opinion. The Navarre fleet arrives to provide assistance, which was a cool thing to see, and it's nice that we got a payoff of them potentially joining the Federation at the end of the episode, and their ships really did look awesome, as it looks like we have a kind of mishmash of Romulan and Vulcan technology. Burnham pleads with the Admiral to let them leave the Fed HQ so the Discovery is not destroyed due to the spore drive there, which is really immensely important. However, for Book and Burnham, things go from bad to worse, as poor old Book is about to be given the truth serum / headband thing, so he reveals where the dilithium planet is. Now, this was a good moment for Aurelio, who has a great test to have in this episode, and I thought he was really great in the last episode, and I love the idea of someone joining the Emerald Chain and seeing the good side of it. We basically saw how the people who the Federation tried to get on board, and we see that from their point of view here, as he preaches the benefits of the Emerald Chain, but we are skeptical there of his views. He reconsiders his life choice as he's abused by Asira there because of this. Burnham escapes from the room with Book in a blink and you'll miss it gun grab, and she is so ridiculously overpowered as we see a romp through the ship in the opposite of last week's stealth mission, like in Metal Gear Solid, when you get caught and you go disco mode. You see, sicko mode? Discover? Yeah, anyway. Meanwhile, Saru is still in the hollow simulation on the dilithium planet with the ship wasting away while Adira turns up, and we get a shock as Gray also appears. Yeah, that guy. Do you remember him? Not me particularly, I've completely forgot he existed, as the hollow simulation makes a separate hollow avatar for him. Have to say, like I said, I kind of forgot he existed, as this season was so very patchy and all over the place. Now, Saru tries to get Su'Kal to turn off the simulation by appealing to his better nature and help him understand the outside is safe, what the burn was, and explains to him why the Federation didn't come, because of course he still has that childlike nature to him despite growing up. Saru needs to convince him to let go of the world his mother made before she died. Now, the weakest part of the episode is also the very corniest, as the generally forgotten bridge crew have their life support turned off and come up with a plan to bring the ship out of warp by blowing up the nacelles after getting a coded message from Burnham after her and Book continue to try and take control of the ship by reaching the data core. In a cringe and corny sequence, the bridge crew with Tilly slowly pass out. I'm sorry, I found it hilarious, as one of the crew who has convenient character development goes on a suicide mission here to fulfill their plans, and they manage to get out of warp there, and shock, Owo doesn't die, and Asira here is very screwed as Book and Burnham head through the lift network and split up. Book manages to take out Zarya, who I was shocked he survived even in the first place. What happened in the first episode? I guess all he got was some frostbite, but he's taken out there after he insults Grudge. That's the problem. None of these villains are interesting, and the only thing they did was, or at least that was clever, was have Asira here do a 180 and actually look like she was going to be good, like a chaotic neutral or something like that. But she does another 180 and becomes evil. We finally get the showdown between Asira and Burnham inside of a PlayStation 5 style TARDIS, and it's an absolute lame one as they feel the effects of the ship dropping out of warp as Burnham is pushed into one of those box of pins everyone puts their hands to and no one ever buys in gadget shops. But Burnham, with more plot armor than the main cast of Game of Thrones, survives and kills Asira. Season done, let's go home. But she needs to reset the ship, and she is absorbed by a gigantic Viridian Space Jawa sandcrawler. Now, one thing is weird is how the sphere data is just sacrificed. Yep. The Dot 23s and all of that, it was inside them. The whole ship is reset. They haven't got their new operating system, and the reason they went to the future is because this data could not be erased or deleted, but it's gone. Yeah, anyway. Everyone reconvenes at the bridge there as they try to work out how to escape the Viridian ship. Somehow Aurelio is now a good guy and accepted by the Federation after trying to take over the Spore Drive. I don't get it. Yes, he was with them. Yes, he is sort of a good guy. But why would they just accept? Yeah, don't ask questions, just consume. Luckily, Book can use the Spore Drive as he is an empath. Wait, hold on. Why didn't they do this earlier? Anyway, let's just move on. They drop an exploding warp core and then they Spore Drive the heck out of there. Now, Saru is still trying to work out how to escape as Hugh works out that Sukal caused the burn as his body was affected by dilithium in utero, causing him to have some kind of genetic code and connection with the dilithium, allowing him to commune with it, which is massive. It's huge there. That's a big plot development. And this is what caused the dilithium to break when he cried out there. And we see a bit of that. And he is unstable still, of course, because he hasn't properly grown up. Saru manages to guide Sukal to how to turn off the hologram after a heart-to-heart about going outside and explaining that he also had the problems of leaving his planet and joining the Federation because, of course, he was one of the first people to go off and do that sort of thing from his home. Now, we see what happened with his mother and the burn as the holo device is turned off, and they also promise to let Grey, come out and hang out a bit, I guess. Now, eventually the season has been leading to Burnham become captain of the Discovery, but I don't think that she's shown she's ready. She's consistently undermined Saru, and she has an awkward gaze with Stamets, and she doesn't really seem fit for the command. I thought we would have a turnaround, but again, she just seems to do what the hell she wants, and that is that. As we see a montage of the Discovery welcome Burnham with their new uniforms on to the bridge, and yes, they've turned into the Amazon Prime of dilithium. Their new prime directive there is to reconnect the universe by delivering dilithium across the galaxy, with more and more people joining the Federation, including the Triss, and the Naval are now open to joining again. and we get even more of our lonely Federation man. Now, I'm hoping that we see some more people. Hope we see some Vulcans or some Romulans join, some new cast, and thankfully we can finally move on to a Planet of the Week traditional Star Trek. And we also saw Saru, as he is with Su'Kal on Kamina there as well, so he probably won't be in this too much, but he's had the most character development. Anyway, most of the plot threads have seemingly been tied up, apart from, the whole Stamets and Burnham thing, and I don't think the serialized style really works for the flagship Trek show. I think that it needs to be full of optimism and visiting planets around the galaxy, but it was okay in parts. And the entire season and goal of getting Burnham the captaincy and rebuilding the Federation was very much, it felt like the opening of a season in like a 2 or a 3-parter. I mean, it could have been condensed down more, but I look forward to the next season, and I'd be interested to see more about David Cronenberg's Kovic, and I expected him to be the Section 31 plotline that would lead to Michelle Yeoh's character going off and having that spin-off, but we got a very different ending to that character. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Did you enjoy this? Did you enjoy the show? Are you looking forward to season 4? And what do you want next as well? And I guess I'm going to go and finally finish Picard, and I will finally finish watching all of the other Star Trek shows. I've only finished Next Generation, and as well as that, Enterprise, and I've watched bits of DS9 and Voyager. I will try and finally finish them as well. But I do have a Cobra Kai video coming tomorrow, and I also will have a Lupin breakdown and ending explained at some point when I watch it this weekend. But I'll see you soon, and goodbye.